It starts with a simple sketch, quiet, calm, full of potential. But then let's turn it into something spectacular with a little mixed media magic. Texture, colour, controlled chaos. This is where mixed media takes over and transforms everything. I'm Kathy and it is the first Monday of the month, so that means it's Mix It Up Monday where anything goes, and you saw the sketch we're using this month from Christine Steele Harden, and we're playing along with Mix It Up Monday, as I said, and Tara is our host from the Paper Snob. I hope you've all had a crafty weekend, and this being the first Monday of the month, we're all in for a little mixed media. So I am using a uniquely creative range of papers. They are very Australian. They have lots of rich colours that are of our landscape and are drawing together on all of the wonderful things that you find if you venture into our bush. Now, I am, as I said, preparing my base ready for the layout, and I'm just putting together all the pieces that I require to make up the foundations of Christine's sketch before I start working with the mixed media. Now, Mix It Up Monday, you're going to see some amazing interpretations of this sketch. I can't wait to go and watch the playlist. I'm sure I'm going to learn something new from someone on that list, and I'm hopefully going to inspire you to get creative as well. So I have my 3 panels here, and at first I originally cut them at 2 3/4, but I realized that I actually just need them to be at I cut them at 3 inches across, and I actually need them at 2 3/4. Then I have got 2 at the top, which are going to turn into fishtail banners. So the whole crux of this layout is the mixed media that we're adding. And so today I have this Tim Holtz stencil that I'm using, and I'm using a scorched timber to go through my stencil, and I just want the crosses to add a little bit of extra interest onto that wood veneer background. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know I love wood veneer backgrounds, and I'm just really liking that earthy, rich tones that comes in this range. So I'm just adding in the crosses just for visual interest onto the layout, and this is a great way of doing it. I am using the softer brushes so that it is blending in beautifully, and it is coming out as a soft texture on top of the base paper that I'm using. Now, I really do like to experiment with mixed media. I am not as good as some people. Like, seriously, you look at MK, you look at Crafty Maven, they are just leagues ahead with their ability to use mixed media. Mel Walkden, she uses it all the time. I dabble in it. I do like the effect it has, and I really should be encouraging myself to do it more often. So I like this hop because it does encourage me to get a little bit more creative with that mixed media. Now I'm adding in some stamping to the background as well, and because it's ink, it's wet, I'm adding it too. That classes as mixed media adding in. And I have these docket type tickets from, well, they're just a range of stamps that have just got those type of backgrounds that you use, and I've also put some cross hatching in around the place as well. Now that I've done that, I'm preparing my panels even further that I'm going to add onto this layout by rounding the corners, just as Christine has in her sketch. And I do stay pretty close to the sketch. I really want to honor that sketch. It's a great one. I can see that I will use it more often. It does have a horizontal for the landing for the photos, which is great, and the vertical panels add that little bit of extra interest, as I said. Now, the range of paper that I'm using is Bushland Boutique. It is a uniquely creative range of papers, and I just love the colors. So I am just not totally distressing the edges of the papers. I'm just inking around with that scorched timber, and that's allowing it to have the darkened edges so that when it goes onto the background, it stands out just that little bit more. Now you can see with this dotted paper here, which is the back of one of those papers that I'm using, it is slightly, well, I've got it at the moment currently the 12 by 2 3/4, but I do trim it down to making 11 by 2 3/4 once I start layering it on, as you see here, because I realize that it's not meant to go from edge to edge. So I'm just putting in my 3 panels here, these vertical ones, and they follow the lines of that wood paneling, which is great and just complements the whole overall appeal of that layout. And then I'm going to add in my verticals, and you saw me just trim that one down. So now that it just sits there as a vertical landing spot for the photos. And I just love the color combination. It just is a nice, subtle technique of blending the colors together. And when I add my photos, you'll see how that makes all the difference when you're popping your photos up off your layout. I'm now just inking the edge of my fishtail banners that I've created to go to the top. And I'm putting those down just as Christine has in her sketch. And I must admit that when I do finish my layering of my embellishments, they are sort of not seen as predominantly as they are at the moment. And I'm just going to trim off that edge just there so that I have my 2 fishtails at the top. Now that I have put down my photos, I am not matting my photos. This time I'm just going to lay them on the layout because they stand alone and they stand out quite significantly by themselves, and I like the effect that it creates. I am going to add in another scalloped edge down under the photo, and that's going to add a little bit more detail along there, and this is where I start to make this layout mine. So I'm putting on my overlay board because I want to see where everything sits, and then I don't want to lose where the placement is when I go to glue it all down. So at the moment I am using a Stampin' Up board, which is a glass one, and I am looking to get a Scrapbook Fantasies planning board, which I will do in the next month or so. So I'm just stretching out my scalloping here. I'm layering in my flowers down here so that I am setting up my clusters. And I have fussy cut most of these from the papers in the range so that they complement, but they also are from another one of the Uniquely Creative, and that's the beauty when you use the same brand. They do tend to complement each other from theme to theme, so they just sort of marry nicely with the colors and the tones. So I'm just layering up my embellishments so that I'm creating clusters that are balanced and equaled across the page, and add that little bit of interest. Now, these photos are of my husband, who at the time was recovering from one surgery on his heart and pacemaker, about ready to go in to have the wires and batteries all turned up, and then he ended up having another pacemaker put in. So this was an in-between part, so doing anything required him to rest everywhere we went. He wanted to be part of our day out at the Pioneer Village, and so it just meant that he was taking a rest all the time, which was fine because still got photos of him in there, and it allowed me to bring the buildings in as well, because he'd be at the front and I could take a photo of the back, and then they put them together, and it allows this layout to have these photos. And as you can see, the colors are just complementary. I just added in some buttons there just to give it that little bit of a shabby feel, and I'm going to add some more mixed media into this one now, and I'm going to use my Distress Spritz, and it's the Weathered Wood one by Tim Holtz. It gives a nice blue sparkle sheen which picks up the colors of the paper and the sky, and it just makes a nice finish off to this layout. Now, I am terrible with splatters. I try very hard. I just don't get it as easy as other people. I don't know. The chaos of it worries me. I like a little bit of control, and I think that that's where I fail with the splatters. So there's my layout. I'm very happy with how this has turned out. I do like the effect of it. You can see all the different mixed medias happening as we go through the layout here. I've got some stamping, I've got some stenciling, I've got some splatters, and I just love the fact that I've brought in the buttons to add that extra bit, and that too is a mixed media because it's not paper. So hopefully I've done something to earn a thumbs up from you today. If I have, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you like what I'm doing so that you can build my channel. I am trying to reach the magic 700, so your help would be greatly appreciated. There is a full playlist link down below of all the people playing along today, this Monday. You will see some amazing interpretations of this sketch and some really, really spectacular mixed media if you go and watch that list, and I strongly suggest you do. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay creative, and here's my next video for you. I'll see you over there real soon.